What's up, Scampers? Welcome back to another video. This video is going to cover everything that went wrong during the warranty period on my brand new Scamp and what was done about it. So I wanted to make this video for you all because there seems to be a misconception out there that if you buy an RV new, you're not going to have problems with it for a while because it's brand new. It's going to take a while for things to go wrong. That's definitely a misconception. These things shake and rattle and roll down the road, so things are going to rattle loose. Some gremlins are going to shake out. That's just how it goes. The benefit of buying a Scamp trailer brand new, however, is that they do come with a 1-year warranty. So if you plan to get out there and use your Scamp a lot within that first year, a lot of those gremlins can shake loose, and Scamp is really incredible about making sure that everything that goes wrong gets repaired and gets repaired correctly within that 1-year warranty period. So let's cover everything that went wrong with my trailer in the 1-year warranty period, what was done about it, and we're going to do it in chronological order. My very first issue that happened pretty immediately, it started on the drive home from the factory, were mystery screws. Pretty immediately, once this trailer started bumping down the road, some screws came loose, and I still have these 3 out loose because I haven't figured out where they came from. Some screws that shook loose I was able to identify, but these 3 in particular, I still have no idea where they go. So I keep them in this drawer, hoping that one day I'll discover where they came from and put them back. But I have mystery screws and fasteners that have failed all over the place. One of the areas that I first noticed where hardware was failing is at the base of this tree support in between my kitchen and my bed. As you can see down here, I only have one of the original pieces of hardware that came from Scamp. The other 3 are just screws that I happen to have that I replaced that are short enough they don't interfere with the drawer that is right on the other side of this wall. If I used really long screws, they would go in too far, they'd hit that drawer, and I wouldn't be able to open and close that drawer. But if you look really closely, even the ones that I've put in are starting to back out a little bit, just because this area must get a lot of road noise that translates down this support piece into the hardware at the bottom. So it's kind of a problematic area, but it's not the only one. So let me show you how I handle this problem all throughout the trailer. So this stuff here is Loctite thread locker. It is not permanent, it's removable, but that's what you want because you want to be able to do repairs when you need to. But you can put this stuff on the threads of screws that are backing out frequently, and it gives it a little extra oomph and keeps it in place a lot longer than if you didn't use it at all. So I've made a habit of going throughout the trailer and just applying this periodically to anything I see shaking loose. So let me give you a quick demonstration. Since I noticed this one backing out here, I'm just going to pull it on out of here, put some thread locker on it, and hopefully it'll keep it in place a little bit longer. You do want to shake it really well before you use it, make sure it's good and mixed up, but then you just apply it to the threads and screw the screw back in. It's pretty easy. You don't need a ton, a little bit goes a long way. Just coat some of the threads and it should lock it right in place. While I was looking around for other screws that might have come loose, I found this one down here at the bottom of my bathroom door. That one's definitely coming loose, so let's add some Loctite there too. These ones you have to remove the little caps that come on them, but they're pretty easy to remove, and then the plastic piece that's on here is what holds that cap on. But you can unscrew the whole screw with that cap there. You just want to make sure you leave that plastic piece on because that's what holds the cap in place. Just going to add a little more thread locker to this one too. Put the cap back on, and once that thread locker sets, it should keep that screw from backing out quite so easily. It definitely makes a big difference, so I highly recommend thread locker if you've got screws that are coming loose everywhere like I do. Since mystery screws and screws that back out easily are pretty easy to fix, I'm not going to bother Scamp with that. I just add this thread locker and call it a day. It's worked really well so far. I just make it a habit of periodically checking all the screws and fasteners throughout the Scamp and making sure that nothing's backing out. This seems to solve the problem easily. I don't need to bother the warranty department for something like that. However, the next thing that arose was definitely not something I could handle myself. On our second or third trip out, we went to the Oregon coast and got stuck in a torrential downpour. And I woke up from a dead sleep because I heard it raining inside the Scamp. So when I woke up, I found a bunch of water up here in the rat fur right above the door. And it was so much coming in so rapidly that it was dripping onto the floor. And that's what I heard wake me up, was the drip, drip, drip of the rain actually raining inside the trailer. When I came out here to inspect it, it was pretty obvious that the silicone above the door here had been applied too thinly and had cracked and was letting water in, dripping into the interior on the other side below the seal on top of the door. If you saw my emergency preparedness video, then you know I travel with duct tape all the time. So I just put duct tape over the top of the door here, and that was enough to get us through that trip. But when I got home, I dug the silicone out, because if you're going to add new silicone, you have to get rid of the old silicone first. But when I did, I discovered that the tape underneath here wasn't solid either. And there was in fact a screw that was loose, spinning in place, meaning the door wasn't snug to the trailer like it should be. And since I'm all too aware that the doors on Scamps can be one of the major problem points with these trailers, I hit up the Scamp warranty department. They directed me to an RV repair place in my area, and I took it in to have a professional look at it because I wanted to make sure it didn't become a problem again. So I actually wrote down for you all the steps it took to repair this problem and what it cost, in case you're curious. So according to the invoice from the RV place, they removed the gutter that was over the door. They cleaned out the old caulking. They removed the buttle tape from behind the door frame. They enlarged any screws that were spinning to fix that problem. They filled the gap between the door and the trailer wall with a rolled buttle tape, and then they pushed it in and smoothed it out. They caulked over the top of the door with a first layer, reinstalled the gutter, added a second layer of caulking from the gutter frame to the wall, and then they performed a leak test to make sure it wasn't going to leak again in the future. And according to the invoice, the materials were only $31.07, but the labor itself was $242.50. So with tax, it was $292.72. So if you had the ability to repair this yourself, it would have been $31 repair. But I wanted to make sure it got done right and never became a problem again. So labor was definitely the most expensive part of this process. But I sent that invoice right to Scamp, and they immediately cut me a check. No questions asked, problem solved, problem paid for. It was all under warranty. Scamp took really good care of me and made sure that I got this problem solved and it was fixed correctly. The next issue I had was also with the door, and it was a problem with this door lock mechanism. If you saw the video I made on replacing the door handle here, you'll know that the original lock mechanism shook loose while I was on a trip and made the deadbolt unable to disengage. So I actually got locked out of my trailer mid-trip. I was super lucky because I had a window unlocked that I could crawl through and unlock the door from the inside, but I wasn't able to lock my door for the rest of the trip. And it was pretty nerve-wracking checking my mirrors every 20 seconds to make sure my door wasn't swinging open on the highway. And if you look real close, you'll be able to tell that I actually replaced this twice. This isn't the lock that I demonstrated in my video. I wound up replacing that one with a higher end, more trusted brand because I had a problem with that one failing. So I wound up replacing it twice. And if you go watch that video, I have updated the link in the description below. So if you purchase the lock from that video description, it'll be this good one that I haven't had any problems with. But getting locked out of my trailer mid-trip could have been disastrous. So when I hit up Scamp's warranty department again to see if they would replace the lock and let me upgrade it, they said they'd pay for the price of the original part, but they couldn't cover the upgrade. So they cut me a check for the price of the original part, which if I remember correctly, was around $50. But I paid the extra to upgrade to the lock that I can use the code with, and I have no regrets. Ever since I upgraded the second time, I haven't had any problems, and it's been really nice not to have a key. And no matter who's where, anyone can get in using a code. And I love that aspect. But in the video where I'm replacing the lock, you'll see me struggle with the strike plate and having a hard time getting the door to seal correctly. And that brings me to the next issue I had under warranty. And from what I hear, this is a really common problem across all Scampers because my door started swinging open while I was on the road, even with it deadbolt locked. And in my lock video, you'll see that my strike plate was kind of askew. It came from the factory put in sort of crooked like this, and I wound up adjusting it, drilling another hole over here just to see if I could get a better latch. But no matter where I put this strike plate, it was really super hard to close the door. I had to slam it crazy hard, and it wasn't staying shut on the road. And the door became so frustrating to close and latch that during a trip, I wound up just removing the strike plate to see if it would make a difference, and it wound up being the perfect solution for me. Now, I can't really say if this is a fluke or if this will work for everyone, but removing the strike plate has completely solved the issues with my door coming open on the road. Before, I used to have to slam it really hard just to get it to click in and latch. But as you can see now, just a little shove and it clicks in every time. The door still has a good seal. I haven't had any leaks, and my door is no longer coming open on the road. I can't guarantee that it'll work for you, but removing the strike plate has completely solved my door coming open problems. So for that one, I didn't have to bother Scamp's warranty department. I just took the strike plate off, solved the issue. But then I sprung another leak. This time I came into my Scamp to pack some stuff, and I noticed water dripping from these bolts right here down the wall all the way down to the floor, and there was a puddle down here near my rug soaking my rug. These two bolts coming in from the exterior of the trailer are what hold the mounting bracket from my awning onto the trailer. So when I came to examine outside the trailer out here, it could possibly be these two bolts in front of the awning right here, or it could be these two bolts that were on the back side of the mounting hardware back here. So I covered all of these with duct tape to see if I could eliminate the leak, and I wasn't able to. So again, I asked the Scamp warranty department to send me to a professional repair place because I don't mess around with leaks. Water damage is gnarly, and if the trailer is still under warranty, I'm going to take advantage. So again, I contacted Scamp's warranty department, and again, they sent me to a local repair place where the total for this repair and parts and labor was $231.73. Basically what they did was they added more caulking all the way through the holes for the bolts, and as you can see, they added a ton of caulking to the bolts on the brackets outside, and they did the back brackets as well for good measure. So again, I just sent the invoice to Scamp. They cut me a check and mailed it to me right away. There was no issue getting it covered. They took really good care of me, and the problem was solved. And the very last problem I've had with my Scamp under warranty is that the light that's inside my water pump switch that normally indicates that the pump is on went out. It happened at the very end of my warranty period, and honestly, it doesn't matter to me if this thing lights up or not. I remember to turn it off most of the time, but if I figure out an easy way to repair this, I'll make a video on it for you all. But that was the last problem I had under warranty with Scamp, and it was the very tail end of my warranty period, and honestly, I didn't get to it soon enough. That's on me. I bet if I had, they would have had it replaced because they've been great this entire time. But if I figure out a way to do it, I'll definitely make a video for you all because I feel like that's probably a common problem as well. That's everything that went wrong with my trailer while it was under its warranty period. I hope this helps you feel like you're not alone in your struggles out there, because we all have struggles with our RVs. Stuff goes wrong. Sometimes you need professional help, and that's okay. If you enjoyed this video, check out some of my other ones while you're here, and I'll see you next time. Happy scamping.